going to be the third installment of the Horse Archer Tactics series, going over horse archers, and just check out this missile blob from one of our allies, Terrain. Terrain. Yep, that makes sense. A nice big blob of Pavis crossbowmen and musketeers. So if you've not figured this out yet, this is a no rules game. So it was a game that I actually created for this purpose. A 10k money no rules battle, just because I wanted to bring missile cavalry. So I've got, or gun cavalry should I say, so I've got some of these raters to show off in this battle. So we'll see how well they do in the coming conflict. I do also have a main body with some sort of guns as well in, but it's all going to be, we're going to focus on the missile cav as we normally do in this scenario. And my other ally for this battle was Subotai, a very good player online, and a very one of my dear friends online as well, who is playing as the French should I say, the France. He's playing as the France, and he's brought 4 units of these mounted archers, which I absolutely loved him for, because it allows me to not only show you gunpowder cavalry, but it also allows me to show you some more horse archer gameplay as well. And he's already used these light cavalry to slaughter the cannon of Denmark, and he's going to use them to shoot at these isolated Danish cavalry. So Danish players completely isolated all of his cavalry right off the bat by pushing them too far ahead of his infantry, and this is a big mistake. You never want to isolate your cavalry when there are horse archers around, because the only counter to horse archers are light cavalry and foot skirmishers. So if you're isolating all of your cavalry off like this, you're going to suffer. And it's very shortly actually that Corrigan decides that he doesn't want to have to deal with horse archers and quits out of the game. This game was a bit frustrating, because by sort of 3/4 of the way through the battle, all the players had left, and it was just down to chasing down the AI skirmishers, which was highly annoying. But this battle was too fun and had too much in the way of tactics for horse archers to really ignore. So I wanted to just take this battle as for what it was, which was a demonstration of horse archers as opposed to any real skill. That said, as I say, Corrigan did isolate his cavalry well before quitting, and he's currently now sitting his cavalry there. I don't know whether he's fully quit out now, but these French markers archers are just going to slaughter this cavalry. It's a good demonstration actually of how quickly 4 units of horse archers can whittle down heavy cavalry if you let them. And this is obviously on the unshielded side of the heavy knights as well, so it's going to be even more severe. I think the only reason why Corrigan's army is still moving is because he gave them an order. So he's probably given them a movement order, and they're just moving, and then they're going to sort of stop and do nothing, which is what happens when people leave the game. Yeah, because these Norse archers should be in these woods firing at the mounted archers. That's the only way to really deal with horse archers. Now Milan does come in, Osprey. He does come in with some of these Milanese knights, these men at arms, and he does see off the mounted archers, which is good. But he's not going to get too far by chasing them all the time, so he's going to have to you pull his knights back. What I would do is I would wait in the woods, because the woods give you the bonus of cover from missile cav, and it allows you to hide some of your units as well, so the enemy cavalry can't really target your units, and then when they do get too close you can then spring the ambush and get the charge bonus, which makes you a lot faster than the horse archers, especially the French ones, which I don't think are classed as fast moving cavalry. So yeah, the French are just still finishing off the Danish cavalry. Again, that's now just stopped completely. As I say, I think this is where Corrigan just, he's left by now, so his army's just going to sit here. We'll be able to see if there's any more orders given, but yeah, I think by this time he's left the game. Then the rest of Subutai's army is up here. He's got quite a lot of these pikemen. I quite like the fact that he's brought a lot of pikemen, because it allows me to talk more about pikemen as well in this battle. Looks like he's got some pike militia and some standard pikemen, which are quite cheap, which was good in this battle, because as I say, it was only a 10k game. What I wanted to do was test to see how what kind of armies people would bring when you unrestricted the rules but restricted the money, because obviously you can't afford too much cavalry when you are short on cash. So some more of Subutai's horse action. I think he's trying to draw the Milanese cavalry back out, but if I was Milan, I would keep my cavalry well hidden and well out of the way of those horse archers. If he knows what's good for him, he will definitely stay in the woods. So yeah, I decided to bring the Raiters, and just want to go over how I wanted to use my Raiters before the battle begins. The Raiters have very short-ranged firearms. They are very, very short-ranged gunpowder units, and probably you're not going to get that much killing done with them, despite them having armor-piercing gunpowder weapons. So the best way I wanted to use them was actually to scare the enemy, get the enemy blobbed up between my peasants and my Pavis crossbowmen, and then scare the enemy off the field, because gunpowder units have a very strong scare enemy trait. So if you can get them to fire at the enemy, especially 3 units, and especially when they're surrounded, which I also try and do in this battle, then you are going to scare the enemy cavalry off the field a lot quicker. So we're going to have some Milanese cavalry coming in to try and harass my lines. I've got the Pavis crossbowmen already firing at them. Some devastating volleys, and then I'm going to get the Raiters into position. The knights are going to try and come in. They've actually circumvented my peasant line, so I'm going to have to reposition the peasants to try and catch them. But we're going to get some shots off against these charging men-at-arms, and the men-at-arms don't have the best of morale anyway, and they're already wavering after the gunpowder shots, and now they're routing with 24 men left. And this unit as well, already shaken, and now it's breaking. Quick charge from the Raiters sees them off the field. And that's a unit of 45. So in that short engagement with the cavalry, we've already managed to rout 2 units of cavalry very quickly. And now Luke with his Russian Sarsgaard are going to come to try and do the same. But again, I mean, he does catch me here, but the Raiters can still fire in close combat, which is quite good. And we're going to get a unit around and shoot up these Sarsgaard, which are no pushovers in melee. And they are very expensive as well, and already they are shaken from the gunfire. already got one here routing at 42 men. The rest of these Sarsgaard are wavering now, and they're going to get bogged down in my Pavis crossbow men, with the Raiders on the flank and on the hill advantage. So with pikemen and my general's bodyguard closing in, these Sarsgaard are in a terrible position to do what they want to do, which is get in melee and destroy anything that they're in melee with. So they do get to my Pavis crossbow men, but here's where the Pavis crossbow men are just there to bog down these Sarsgaard. They're not here to do anything else, they're just here to bog them down, get them tied up in melee, and then my Raiders can fire at them and do their damage there. And another unit of Sarsgaard routs 37 men, 34 from this one and 36 from this one. More Sarsgaard coming in, but again, by this point they've already routed, they're already weakened, the morale is shot to bits, and they are they're not in a healthy position morale-wise. A Sarsgaard still at this numbers would be very deadly to my infantry and my cavalry, but with the morale effect in place, it's not going to hold out much longer. And even though it's come back as steady. And now it's shaken, so it's not going to be that good in combat if it decides to move into combat with me again. My arquebusiers are going to start firing at them as well. I'm going to shaken Sarsgaard. Even your charging into combat is going to be fairly weak. And now I can bring my pikemen up to finish them off, and that's going to see off these Sarsgaard as well. So as you can see, a lot of heavy cavalry bodies here. The Sarsgaard and the men-at-arms are really suffering on this flank to the Raiders. Now the Raiders can move up and start taking some more shots against some of these infantry units. Again, Russian morale is very poor, and this unit of British Axemen doesn't even reach the lines before it routs with 80 men left. So you see a trend here, the Gunpowder cavalry is there almost purely to rout the enemy, and they are very, very good at it. The downside to them is that these guys are actually really expensive, and so as you can see I could only bring 3 of them before I had to sort of focus on more on my infantry. I mean, I wanted to focus more on infantry anyway, but because they're so expensive, you can't bring them and then bring other units as well. Now, unfortunately, I think this is where the Raiders' energy is spent. They're going to take a few more shots against these Knights Hospitaller, but they're pretty shot up now. They're
only half the enemy force remains.
They're weakened, they're tired, they're shaken. So the enemy heavy cav now, these Hospitallers are going to be able to get in. After sacrificing their men-at-arms brothers, the Knights Hospitaller can now get stuck in and get some kills done. Unfortunately, it's got all my infantry to contend with, and my general's bodyguard, and then I've got a serpentine
Our men has slain the enemy
breaking
general.
some of the enemy units. And the gunpowder effect is still real. This unit routed at 37 men. Even a small handful of guns can still have an effect on morale in battles. So I believe
Only half the enemy force
Luke's
remains.
gone now. I think Luke quit out at this point, and I believe after his last unit of cavalry goes, Osprey leaves the game as well. So yeah, it's a very concerning weakness of horse archers. A big disadvantage that if you're going to bring them, make sure that you are playing against players that are willing to accept the defeat against them. I gave these players the option to bring absolutely anything they wanted. Cannon elephants, your guns, cannons, your horse archers, whatever they wanted, and they brought heavy cav, heavy infantry, and crossbowmen. The creativity of some of these players is quite interesting to see. Some nice gunpowder action from the arquebusiers as well. The foot gunpowder units routing some of these heavy cav. Gunpowder has a huge effect on morale in this game, but they are usually quite expensive, and they sometimes kill a lot. But
our allied general has been slain.
I'll show you the end results in a second, because it will just be a case of chasing down the enemy at this point. But you'll see you'll see at the end results whether they get a lot of kills or not. You will go over the kill list of the gunpowder units. So yeah, the morale effect, should I say, was real in this battle, and even Sarsgaard cannot handle the morale weakening effect of guns. So that was good to see from the gunpowder cavalry. The only other gunpowder cavalry there is the camel gunners. They have slightly more range, or they have more range, should I say, than the raiders, but they're not as good as in melee, so you're going to have melee cavalry to support them, because if they get caught by light cavalry, they're going to die quickly. Unless they get shot off, in which case, the camel gunners, because they're on camels as well, they have the camel scare effect on horses, and then they have the gun effect that scares everything. So actually they do pretty well against everything that they come up against, and that's they do well against a lot of the cavalry units they go up against, should I say, and that's always quite good to see from them. Very scary units. But I say the downside to them is that they're not that great in melee. So just some more gunners lining up, ready to take some shots against these Genoese crossbowmen, I think. I know you guys don't get to see guns that often due to rules and things, so it's good to show you some gunpowder action against some factions. I do like battles with no rules. The only problem I have with battles with no rules is a lot of people play them at 15k and higher, and that's really not the way you want to play no rules battles, because that allows people to just be really silly with their armies.
Like this, and victory is ours.
The best way to play with no rules armies is on very low money, and that forces people to actually bring your units that they wouldn't normally bring, like these cheap pikemen. Why bring pike militia when you can bring the Swiss pikemen and the Flemish pikemen? Well, it's because these guys only cost 180, I think, 190 florins, so these guys are dirt cheap. In fact, Supertai's infantry line is so dirt cheap, it's dirty. It's dirty how effective and how cheap his infantry line is. So double, in fact, he's got a triple line going on here, and he's got a double one going on here with his pikemen. Dirty pikemen marching in and crushing some of their pike brethren, who refuse to use their pikes like good pikemen should. The messy pike action. And then the stream of arrows over the heads of the pikemen.
Only half the enemy force
Such
remains.
a dirty combat. I mean, late period warfare was just so gritty and dirty. I mean, you've seen how effective gunpowder can be, and then the pikemen on top of that is just so dirty and gritty. The whole knight, the whole high period, knight and chivalry and thing. That was a godsend compared. That was like peace compared to the dirty pike blocks and the gunpowder, dirty black powder weapons and the cannons as well, being able to obliterate whole formations. And then the missile cavalry with carbines. It was just such a dirty time in history. You think of sort of melee combat against knights as being dirty, but actually they were very civil to each other. But you can't be civil with a long pike. Heck, you'll probably not even be able to see the guy you're poking because he'll be that far away. It'll just be a case of shoving it into anywhere and hoping that you actually hit an enemy that doesn't have any armor on. So yeah, as I say, this is pretty much the end of the battle. We're just routing the rest of these Milanese forces, and the French line's going to push on and chase down the rest. So I'm going to finish it here and just jump to the results in a second, so I shall be right back. People rarely ever get to see what happens to their armies when they leave a battle, so let me just show you what happens to your cavalry when you leave a battle. Stationary cavalry is easy prey, so I hope you enjoy seeing all of your dead cavalry on the battlefield, because this is what happens when you leave a battle. It just gets annihilated. I wonder if people think that when they leave a battle, everyone else leaves the battle with them. It's kind of like a gentleman's agreement. It really doesn't. Me and Super Tai were having a blast slaughtering all of the stationary troops. So yeah, don't leave battles. It's really, well, it's not enjoyable for you, but it's hilarious for the rest of us. So now the infantry is going to take on the pikemen, and there are a ridiculous number of pikemen here. I mean, that's four rows of four that are all going to merge into one. So we've got 16 units of pikemen. 16 units of pikemen coming in.
We have
no, we
broken
don't.
The enemy
4,
army.
2, 4, 6. No, we have 8 units of pikemen, should I say? Don't know where my maths is going. Yeah, screw your triple line formations. Try 8 line formation. Pike blobbiness. It's a real and present threat, ladies and gentlemen. He's even being nice and holding fire whilst his pikemen do the rest of the work. This is hilarious. So yeah, an advertisement for not leaving a battle. Not everyone will leave the battle, and then this happens. God, you've gotta love pikemen. I think I'm gonna hire Super Tai to be my pike representative. Because I've pretty much done all I can with pikemen. I will use them occasionally in the future. But Super Tai, just... yeah. If this isn't an advertisement for pikemen, 8 units of pikemen all blobbed together, then I don't know what is. Why don't you try think of some? In fact, that's going to be the task for today. I want to see some horse archer replays, battle replays, and I want to see some replays advertising pikemen as well. You know, some crazy pike tactics that somehow work. Yeah, gotta love the pikemen. So yeah, as I was saying, if you want to send in your own horse archer replays, please do. Just mention that they are replays highlighting horse archers, and I will look to upload those in the near future. I think I've pretty much done all I can with horse archers as well. You know, if your opponent lets you do well with them, they're okay. But as I say, I've versed some better players with them, and I've really struggled to get them to do what I wanted them to do. So it's kind of a catch-22. You can bring them and they can do really well, but if you bring them against a player that knows what they're doing, you're really going to suffer, and it's going to cost you to do that. So yeah, these are the results. Let's have a look. So the Raiders not getting too many kills, which was a surprise. The amount of damage they did, I would have thought they would have got kills with them, but they were routing the enemy, so that's obviously key in this battle. General's bodyguard doing really well. He also died in the battle. I don't know whether I mentioned that or whether it was in the replay, but yeah, it was down to his last man chasing down some archers, and unfortunately just got killed whilst trying to kill some archers. It happens. Having to catch all of those archers was a pain in the ass. Infantry doing quite well. My guns did really well actually. 33 from one. I believe one of them, that one got charged by the SARS guard, which was unfortunate. But the other one getting 115 kills. My Serpentine, my cannon, 128 kills. And then a Pavis crossbow one with 132. So, you know, some pretty good kills from the missiles. But as I say, it was the routing that I wanted to show you from the Raiders. Really performing well. At routing the enemy, especially those SARS guard, which are a ferocious heavy cavalry unit to say the least. And then Subutai, as I say, you can tell his pikemen got a lot of kills based on the amount of kills that he actually got, and his horse archers as well probably absolutely owned this game. But as I say, that's because the Danish cavalry was stationary. As I say, not really an example of skill, more than just showing you how horse archers can really be a pain in the ass, and how well you can use horse archers against people that really don't know how to defeat them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tactics series. I shall be looking to doing some more in the future. Let me know what units you want me to go over in these series, because I've done one on pikemen and I've done one on the horse archers, and I think I did a unit's sort of a unit overview of halberds. So if you want me to do one on a different unit, sort of maybe foot gunpowder units, or what have you, just let me know. Maybe even peasants. I really wouldn't mind doing one on peasants actually, or meat screens in general. So yeah, if you want me to do one of those, just let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video.